Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Feminine Scope, a program where we discuss issues affecting women, celebrating their triumphs and seeking ways to solve their challenges. I am Amanda Ezekwe. Our research has shown that 1 in 5 women have a common mental health problem, such as anxiety and depression. Though there can be many reasons why these develop, some that are risk factors are more likely to affect more women than men. Many women find it hard to talk about difficult feelings. They tend to internalize them. This can lead to depression, eating disorders, and even self-harm. Men are more likely to act out their feelings through disruptive or antisocial behavior. There are also certain types of disorders that are unique to women. For example, some women may experience symptoms of mental disorders at times of hormone change. So today we'll be discussing about the woman and her mental health with our focus on depression, which has led to people committing suicide. My guest today is a professional counselor who is a certified cognitive behavioral therapist and much more. You'll get to meet him after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Feminine Scope, and today we'll be discussing the woman and her mental health, focusing on depression. We have our guest in the studio. He is the Chief Consultant Psychometrician at the School of Articulation and Behavioral Alignment Resources, a certified cognitive behavioral therapist. He is an author and content creator who is an advocate for people who want to live a good life. Dr. James Komolafe, the CEO of Saba Resources, aka Dr. Long Life. You're welcome, sir.
Wow, what a caption, Amanda. Thank you so very much. Good to be here. I hope you are mentally stable.
Let's say yes. Of course, we know what the economic situation is in the country, so would you say people are okay? But all the same, welcome to Feminine Scope, sir.
Good to be here, and seriously blessed among women.
Really, that's very true, because since we'll be discussing women issues, especially depression, which is affecting the mental health of women.
A whole lot.
So first, what is depression?
Wow.
Because some people don't really know what depression is. They can't even identify the symptoms when it starts. So what is depression?
And often you hear women and ladies say, wow, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. So a little thing out there, you just say, I'm depressed. You just say, everybody, just leave me, I'm depressed. And before you know it, she throws in the towel. She's not going to communicate with people. You see what I call temporary madness with some at times. Now, it happens to all, given the various circumstances and situations of life. And like you did say, you see, depression don't just happen.
Okay.
It is caused either by personal, internal factors or your environment. Or you say things are tense out there, and you are trying to add 2 and 2, you are not getting 4. You are getting something else, maybe something lesser, and before you know it, it goes into your mind, it goes into your brain. You are beginning to lose your sense of coordination, and instead of taking charge of your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, something else becomes the rule that brings down your emotion, that withdraws your energy and enthusiasm. Now, when that happens for a period of 2 weeks, I'm sorry, that's depression setting in. Because certainly you've allowed the conditions prevalent around you to sink down into your mind. And when your mind is down to the point that your enthusiasm is lowered, your passion and your real excitement is bottled, and you can't manage it, you're depressed.
So what you mentioned internal factors.
So there are internal factors. For example, if one has been going through some bad weather, stormy weather, you are sick, You've not been yourself. You wish you could recover and you have not recovered. If you don't manage that situation well, even physiological problem can lead to psychological challenges. So depression is a thing of the mind. So personal challenges that you mop up into your mind can throw you off balance. So Amanda, anything that rocks a woman's balance, the mental existence, the way she feels, the way she reasons, the way she thinks, the way she talks, to the point that she's beginning to go off track within her for a period of 2 weeks, is depression.
So is that like the time range, 2 weeks?
Yes, and that makes the world of difference between depression and a state of unhappiness, sadness, you call it. Anything could trigger sadness. Is a scenario playing out, you say, wow, sir, I don't like this. In fact, I feel sad about this. It's part of life. Every day, Amanda, is a behavioral variable where you collide, you go on collision course with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So depression sets in when the bad and the ugly is beginning to dictate and set your pace of thinking and of feeling and of reasoning for a period of time, to the point that what you ordinarily love to do, you no longer can do them like before. You're depressed. So it's an internal factor.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter the whole world going on around you, if you can still coordinate yourself, especially in terms of your feeling and your thinking and your interaction with people, you are good to go.
So how can you explain the external factors too?
External factors, yes. It's not all about what happens around you, but how you have allowed, consciously or unconsciously, what is happening around you to dictate and set your pace inside. So, extraneous factor like economic depression, financial impoverishment, things are not tallying, you graduated, no job, and all of that, and your bills are soaring and mounting up. You are a lady who works and your salary is possibly what the whole family depends on, and you see soaring inflation every day and all that, and you put 2 and 2 together. If you sit down there and you begin to think and try to do some certain analysis, it can lead to paralysis. And such mental paralysis can put you on edge. And you begin to do what you didn't expect to do. You begin to think and talk off balance if care is not taken. So that's why we encourage everyone in the saddle. Please, as soon as you see and notice that some certain thoughts and feelings are beginning to encroach into you and remote controlling your mood, and it's beginning to lead to some loss of energy, vibration, please speak up and out to get help. Don't say, I will manage on. It's just for a while, it will go. No. Life, you are supposed to find expression. And where you don't find expression, and you are just reasoning is another way of thinking and talking inside. So that's why the content of your thought per time matters. In fact, a wise king says, as a man thinks, so he is. So women, you are not in any way different from the content of your thought pattern. You think it good, you feel good. You think it bad, I'm sorry. Before you know it, your enthusiasm goes down, your strength goes down, and some bad feelings begins to accumulate over you. And whatever you accumulate over time, you provide accommodation for it. And before too long, those things you think inside will start seeking windows, an opportunity to talk outside by force. So choose to speak up while it is still building up, and don't wait until such thoughts hibernate, grow, and then find a means of expression through you. When you wait for such situation for which so many are already inside. And incidentally, people say, oh, I'm praying. I know one day is one day I will be free. Good talk. But beyond prayer, you need to play your own role in speaking out so that professionals can help you. Education is good. Motivation is good, but they all have their limits when it comes to managing mental health situation with anybody. What do? We do intervention.
Okay. Before we get to the intervention part, what are the types of depression?
Depression. You have all kinds of depression, ranging from just the mild one
associated to women.
To women,
yes.
It could be anybody, including women. Save that women's depression could be extra. Amanda, look at it. Man, M-A-N. Woman, W-O-M-A-N. So you have so many things on, but jumble this to a woman. That could depress her if she doesn't understand her personal constituent, composition, and be ready to package herself in order to manage herself well. Damages could easily result. So, what's that your question again?
Types of depression.
Types of depression, numerous. You have surface depression, just mind when somebody offended you and all of that, and instead of you just walking away from such, that thing is building houses in your mind, and you are keeping people at arm's length, and that begins to determine your rule of behavior towards that individual and all of that. Just mild one, for which maybe surface counseling could help. Then there are other ones that are acute. There are other ones that are very dangerous. Clinical depression, for example. And that's trunk A road to suicide, ideation, where people begin to feel, why am I even alive? I'm worthless. I don't see anything good about today or tomorrow. People don't like me. I'm just existing. So, for women, especially during some of their deliveries and all of that, we have a depression type called postpartum depression, which is as a result of some certain chemical imbalances associated with delivery and all of that, for which you almost think the woman is mad, as mental, and just look at you and say, Amanda, and so person that died the other time, you are the one who killed him. And all of that. And you think it's a kind of a semi-madness. No. It's just a chemical imbalance that is associated with delivery and all of that. And they are all treatable. You have some grave depression mode that could lead to bipolar disorder. He talks very good and smile at you in the morning. In the afternoon, he opens and say, hey. So you see that dual personality. And usually they don't even know or recognize it. You say, Amanda, anybody going through depression may even hardly know. Because it will so weave into them intricately to the point that they'll just feel it's part of me. It's my life. When you see people say, it's just part of me. What can you do about me? You don't like it? Like that? What can you do? That's just me. No. If you're in Port Harcourt, you say, that's just me. You went to Lagos, that's just me. You came to Abuja, that's just me. Then You must look in between the lines and turn the searchlight inward. That is not you. That's your violated self. So, women, it's time to define yourself. If you don't stand up defined, then you start to be defiled. And
so that brings us
yes,
to the question, what is the signs and the symptoms of depression?
great question indeed. If you are the flashy type before, very dazzling Amanda, and you suddenly she comes to the office walking so moody, and you greet her, you just say, "Oh, how are you?" and walks away. You should begin to smell it right there. Withdrawals. And then trying to just do things on your own. You begin to feel some sense of insecurity. Your thought, the way you talk begins to change. People say that you are not happy. And one thing with depression is that you can't hide it. It will always show. The way you manage yourself now differs. You are beginning to withdraw and live isolated life. Things that appeal to you naturally and ordinarily before, you are beginning to lose interest in them. You are the one who smiles before, you begin to keep very heavy mood and heavy faces. And then you pick faults so easily. You keep people at arm's length, and then you don't easily forgive.
And
a little thing will
these are things that really happen every day around us.
Yeah, but by the time those things begin to dictate and determine your pace, that's what we're saying. Every day you are bound to find something good, bad, and ugly. But what is your response variable is what we are talking about. We're not saying be an angel and just be happy all through. No. You offend me, it's natural to vent out an anger. But by the time the anger I vented out is taking me over and changing my color, the color of my speech, my action towards you, and I cannot withdraw from that, that's depression. Especially when it's happening over and over. You are at home, you are thinking about it. You are taken over by your thoughts. So, are you withdrawing? Are you living isolatedly? Are you beginning to lose interest over the regular and the norm for which you are associated with? Do you easily pick fault at the good, the bad, and the ugly? And then you see this sense of just viral misunderstanding of people. You say good money. You say, what is good about the money? I know your heart. God will judge you. When you become critical, in fact, there are some depressive tendencies that lead to schizophrenia. And in schizophrenia, what do you see? It begins to go overboard.